their Wi-Fi. Keep up with it a little.
Isn't he really good? His ability to get when he wants to go slowly. I remember you told me. He would tell you how.
Coach, what's Darius' status?
He won't play tonight. He's just really sick, and he was sick last night, and he gave it a try, and then just, he took an IV before going out, but just didn't have the energy.
You think you're going to go with Solo back in the starting lineup?
Excuse me?
You think you're going to go back with Solo in the starting lineup?
Probably. We hadn't quite decided, but there's probably a good chance that's going to happen.
You had a few guys that haven't played that much lately that played last night. Was it a combination of, Darius being out, foul trouble, giving different guys
just giving guys chances, I mean, obviously the first half, we weren't, doing anything that I thought didn't merit another guy getting an opportunity. So that's why they got opportunities.
You said your halftime speech was not G-rated. What exactly perturbed you about the first half?
Oh, I didn't think we played with any kind of sense of urgency. I didn't think we played desperate. They played more like a desperate team than we did, and that was bothersome to me. And so we talked about it, in a real adult way. And I thought they came back out the second half and played.
Do you feel like that's something that's happened more often than you expected this season, or is that not?
I don't think so. I think we played. I mean, I think we've competed hard. We hadn't played well all the time, but I think we've competed and played pretty hard. I just didn't think we started the game the way we should in a team in our situation. Playing a home game that we desperately needed to win. That was my concern. But I think for the most part, we've competed and we played extremely hard. We just, we didn't do it in that situation. That was, like I said, that was a little bothersome to me.
You mentioned Darius not playing the second half. You also went with Etwan in the starting lineup to start the second half. Do you think that move to the bench kind of affected him more than you expected? You want to get the.
I don't really know. I mean, I've thought about that also, and some guys just play better as starters. It's something that we're gonna, really look into in the next 24 hours, really, to see if it's something that, that we want to change and go back to.
If I had told you 5-10 years ago that Mike's offense would be so heavy with ISO and dribbling, what would your reaction have been given the years together?
I'd say he'd probably have James Harden on his team. That would be my guess. He's the best ISO player in the world, really. I mean, and I don't know if anybody that you could say is better in the history of this league, really. as far as drawing fouls and making plays in an ISO situation. So I think that's the one thing that people don't know about Mike. I mean, I think Mike is very much a coach that can adjust to the situation, and he's in a situation where he's taking advantage of a guy that does it better than anybody else in the world. And so, yeah, they're going to go ISO. And then when you add Chris Paul to the mix, you got a center that can roll down and catch lobs, and they put a lot of pressure on your defense.
Did you like the way that those guys responded in the second half last night to what you had said? And then do you feel like this group, the chemistry was talked about over and over again last year as being important. Do you feel that has managed to stay together despite being not where you guys want to be?
Yeah, that's the thing that I talked about the other day. I don't think anybody has lost faith in that we're going to be a good team. It's a little bit, I mean, we're 40 games, 20 games in, 30 games in, whatever, and it gets to be a little, concerning, because you're almost halfway to the season, very close to being halfway to the season. So, the only saving grace is that there still hadn't been anybody in the West that has just run off and left. Usually this time of the year, there's 3 or 4 teams that have really separated themselves from the pack, and that hadn't happened. And so we still have an opportunity to get healthy, and then we're going to have to go on a run at some stage, to get back into the midst of it. But, we're 4 games from being out of the playoffs. We're 7.5 games from being out of first place, so halfway through the season, I don't see that as a big mountain to overcome. But, as we play more games and play, every week, it's going to become more important for us to put together wins.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thank you.